Another week of the all-new Sports Cage. It is Monday, like he said, for our friends at Keln Solar. It's Barney, Shynkaruk, and Derek Bidwell on this Monday. The whole gang's here. Colson, Curtis. You never know when Alan's going to show up. We got 3 hours for you. Hoping to talk some curling, as well as hockey, as well as football, as well as baseball. Bidsy. Like, we don't talk a lot of baseball on this program. I get it, especially when it's local. Except when it's local, I mean. In the summertime, we got the Canadian Senior Men's coming up next August here. But Juan Soto, if you don't know that handle and you haven't been online, he just signed the most lucrative baseball deal in the history. I'm going to say it's the most lucrative deal in any team sport. $765 million. I'm not going to waste a lot of time on that. I'm really interested if people care out there in Sports Cage land. 306-936-6262. All day we'll take your texts on anything we talk about or anything that you're feeling from the weekend or coming up. Capital Ford Lincoln text line. Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. Curtis, you're quick on the ball today, on YouTube. You got the video going. If you're watching it, you see there's $765 million man, Juan Soto.
I'm always quick on the ball. So,
what makes you put your hair in a man bun today?
Like,
is it getting in your face and eyes?
Yeah,
you had the toque on.
I just don't like it when it falls in my eyes, and it's been getting really long. Like, since it's curly, if you go down, it goes all the way down to my chin, and it's just like flopping around, and I no longer like it, but I don't want to cut my hair yet.
I just noticed it, and I was like, is it tucked behind his headphones, or is it in a man bun? Okay, man bun. Okay. You're not drinking an IPA over there or anything, are you?
Don't tempt me.
All right. I'll watch your bike outside, make sure it doesn't get stolen. Elsewhere, we have Eric Francis coming up in hour 2, talking hockey. In hour 2, Trevor Harris, the starting quarterback of our Saskatchewan Roughriders, signed last week. He's going to join us via video stream. We'll talk to Trev about the holiday season. And in hour 3, more quarterback stuff with doubles. Darian Durant. We got a list of questions for him. As always, if you got any questions for the guys, and we'll pick them out. 936-6262. Bidsy, how's the weekend?
Good, pal. It was eventful. Got a lot done. Wasn't very exciting. Watched a little sports. Yeah, it was good. It was good until the storm came here in
You got another storm?
And then that leveled out. Yeah.
Or the basketball team from the 90s?
The storm is back. Breaking news from the hard court.
Right. They had the press conference at Penguin Village. You guys got big snowstorm up there?
We did. We had some heavy snow. It was between a kind of a combination of freezing rain into snow. Then after the snow, more rain, and then the temperatures dropped and everything was covered with ice. And now we're just everything is covered with ice now.
Yeah, well, that happened here, right? Colson and Curtis, everyone in southern Saskatchewan. I think we dealt with rain. When did the rain come? Friday night? Was it Friday night we got drilled with rain?
Saturday night, because I had to be out early Sunday morning scraping off my parking pad.
So everybody, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in every city in Saskatchewan now dealing with this. Ruts. On your street, or in your bay, or in your court, or in your back alley, or in your whatever. Massive ruts. And it's going to get cold. Like, it's already colder today, and it's going to get cold for the rest of the week. So it is going to be like, I've never driven on the moon, but I suspect that that's what it would be like. Like, it is going to be awful out there. So you know what I did yesterday? Right. Gentleman by the name of Ryan. Shout out. Ryan. He's in my phone as Mr. Plow, and in brackets, Ryan. I sourced out somebody to come and take care of our court, because I'm not snowblower guy. I think I've talked about this on the show before. I like to get out there and shovel. I'm still old school. I'm like my dad. Mm-hmm. We don't need a snowblower. Yeah. Get out there, elbow grease, break your back. Yep. So my neighbors they have the snowblowers, and then they've bailed me out twice this year already. So our court You just couldn't drive through it. It was awful. And then it was just going to, when this cold weather coming. So I'm like, I gotta be neighbor. I gotta be a good neighbor here. So I found Mr. Plow Ryan, and he came last night, and he not only cleared the court, now we got clear sailing all the way to the main artery. Bidwell's frozen. He's not. So I just think if you know anyone with a blade on the front of a truck or a Jeep, as Sean Stephan pointed out on social yesterday, even I don't think Big Broom Guy. You see Big Broom Guy with the Jeep driving around? I don't think that's going to work. You need the blade.
No, the broom's only good when it's still powdery out.
Yes, yeah. So we are in desperate need. You're in desperate need of a blade. Support the local economy. Find a guy. Maybe he can come and blast some snow for you and clear your street, your crescent, your court, your back, because it's going to get nasty. Like, it's already nasty.
Yeah, like I said, I'm on a parking pad and into our back alley. And yeah, it's going down the parking pad and then up about 4 inches onto the ice that's back there. So yeah, and it's a back alley, so I don't know when the city clears them. I don't know even if they do.
You got to be you got to know somebody for them to clear a back alley, I think, in the city. Or maybe unless the garbage truck guys and girls, if they can't get around, I think that's when you might get a blade in the back alley.
Yeah, we have some garbage bins in the backyard, so that'll happen eventually. I'm on the newer end, right next to construction, so I feel like if there's a couple construction guys that are not able to get around, they'll just bring in a big plow too.
Oh,
yeah.
Because I had a skid steer guy, and his trailer said his trailer was broken, so he couldn't. He lives in the east now. That's the other problem. Moved from NOD all the way to the east. Bids, it'd be like in Saskatoon, a guy moving from Montgomery all the way to Arundel. And he used to be able to come over and take care of some stuff for you. That guy's not making that drive. And, but Dad, I'm just saying out there, it's a good move. If you know a guy with a blade, or if you just want to be super neighborly and support the local economy, find a guy, get him to, or girl, and get him to come and clear your street for you and your neighbors.
Yep.
Right? I don't know. It's gonna get absolutely gross. Rain. I'm glad we has a golfer. I'm glad we have this snow cover. Ryan Pollock's in tomorrow co-hosting. We'll ask him, because if there was no snow and then we got rain and then the freeze, that is the recipe for winter kill on a golf course.
Oh yeah. Good thing we got the snow first. Well, it kind of is now. It's snow and then ice on top. It's almost like a layer. It's like Tupperware now. It's Mother Nature's Tupperware for the golf course.
Yes.
There you go. You can take that. You can run with that.
Mother Nature's Tupperware. It's like Greg Millen's helmet. We had Greg Millen on last week. And there's one, I said, your one helmet looks like the Tupperware bowl that my mom has. Used to eat popcorn out of. I think everyone had that green bowl, didn't we?
Yeah. Did it have like a star pattern on the top with the button in the middle?
I think we're thinking of two different bowls.
The circle. Okay,
the circle bowl.
Yeah,
and then, you can do anything. That bowl has seen everything. Mm-hmm. It's been from macaroni salad to big cereal to popcorn to, I don't know, go collect tomatoes in the whatever in the garden.
There's that. And then must have had one of those they must have had the Kool-Aid jug, right? Like the jug, the Tupperware kind of like Kool-Aid jug with the top. It did have a button. That one had a button.
Yes, it did. Wasn't fortunate enough though to be a big Kool-Aid house. We would go to my buddies all the time, and they would be running Kool-Aid, and I was like, "Okay, can we get some Kool-Aid, Mom, Dad?" Nope. The closest thing I think we ever got was peach crystals from the bulk food.
Oh yeah.
Because Kool-Aid, you needed like a cup of sugar, then you needed the packet. Yeah. I suppose wasn't good for you.
They were probably thinking Barney's high strung enough. Like, we don't need to throw a bunch of Kool-Aid into him, right?
Yeah, well, I was wrapped up in all kinds of different things and cuckoo bars and Duncan Hine Deep and Delicious cakes. Like that lady in Weyburn that gave them away for Halloween that Dave told the story about. That's still gets me. No CFL news this weekend. Charbel De Beer was kind of the last signing that we had. You're thinking though, and we're going to talk to Trevor Harris, like I said, an hour or two. we talked about this in production meeting. Like now, like do the dominoes start falling when it comes to receivers and anyone signing? That okay, Trevor's back. You know, I'm gonna ink my deal. Is it? You think that's what's going down?
I would think that's the way it kind of plays. Like, I think there's an order to things, Shink, whether you're talking about in any sport. I think they want to bring back probably one of the main, not characters, but one of the main contributors to a team, right? And leaders. And then from there, then you just kind of work your way down. Now, it's not just a financial thing or a monetary thing, but I do think in what you're talking about, the philosophy and what you're talking about, I think it works that way as well too, right? You bring back him. Oh, he's coming back. Okay, then I'm back. Okay. Same thing like if you're talking, I don't know, let's just throw up, your favorite football team, the New England Patriots. Okay, so Tom's coming back. Well, I'm coming back. Tom's not coming back. Maybe I'm not coming back. So, yeah, I think you start there and then it works its way down for sure. And it's kind of a domino effect.
You think, wasn't your thinking too, they might kind of stagger things a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know if that was so much me or that was Dave that thought that was going to be that way. But I think what ends up happening with the team is the riders. I think a lot of these deals maybe are actually done inside. I don't know, can't say that for certain, but maybe at least agree to verbal contract or in principle. The team releases them slowly though, right? Because in the off season, just like any team, it's a business. And they're in the sports entertainment business, and it happens to be the Canadian Football League. And in the off season, you kind of get forgotten a little bit, and you don't want to be forgotten, right? You want to make sure that you're still top of mind and people are talking about you, especially for off season ticket sales. So I think they release them at a certain pace, just so that there always is some news regarding the team coming out, and they don't have just a flat spot.
That's an interesting strategy. Never thought of keep the brand out there. Maybe one big one before Christmas. Like I know Maz last week was talking about Thurman as the Christmas gift for Rider Nation.
Could be.
I want to know, like Trey Ford at his presser today, and I don't know. Obviously, I think a lot of people are watching there as well as to who will be the number 2. Here, who will be the number 2? What's going on in Montreal when it comes to the quarterback position? And there are a lot of quarterbacks to go around this year. That's one thing I'm curious to talk to Darian Durant about later. Because the question I'm going to ask him is, you have more quarterbacks than there is spots, especially starting spots. So at what age does a guy say, okay, I'm going to go down and my buddy's dad's got a paving company, I'm going to work for them, and then maybe chuck with my old high school where I can and get out and get some runs in and some workouts and then wait for the call. And there's agents involved too. I've never really broke bread or had any pints with a CFL agent compared to NHL, so I don't know how it works, but Darian can kind of shed some light on it. It's like, yeah, you keep, do you hold out hope until you're 30 something? Kind of like that hockey player, like we all known that guy that is grinding it out in the West Professional League or Central League or Middle Eastern whatever league or Australia. Guys have gone to Australia, Japan, just living that life, and it's fun. But at what part do you kind of say, I got to get something going here life wise? I got to get a portfolio. Mortgages aren't getting any cheaper.
It's a portfolio. I know what you mean. I think there's a lot of factors there too, Shank. Like you're talking about, the lifestyle and holding on to the dream. I think a family really dictates how long that's going to go too, right? There's a big difference of what you're going to do and what your career choices, I think, are going to be when you're just solo. And you can attest to this, and I can attest to this, and everybody can growing up. These are my decisions when I'm single and I'm solo. And then once you're married and there's kids, then there's a different focus or a different philosophy, a different way of how you look at things. And I'm sure it's the same for those guys as well.
Oh, kids change the game. Yeah, no, you think you got things figured out. No, and the other thing about kid, and you're a good uncle and you kind of help out and all that. It's what did I used to do with my time before I had kids?
Yeah.
My wife and I have that conversation all the time. It's like, because you get one day off and it is like Cool in the Gang celebration. No, like, what did you used to do with your time? Yeah. So there's like, that's got to play in huge for guys. And then what's your wife do? What are your significant other? Can she move? Does she want you to move? And then you over the one kid, you got two kids. It's like, well, I can't. Hey, honey, I'm going to go play football in Ottawa again this year. Is that okay? And just gives you that stare, that look. Like when I try and sneak in an 18 on a Saturday afternoon when things are busy in July.
That look. Yes, that look. But once again, too, a lot of people probably know the story of Kurt Warner. Of course, how he was a grocery bagger and a chip delivery guy for Frito-Lay, and he kept the dream alive, and he went down to the Arena Football League, and then he got called up, and of course, NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champ, NFL analyst now. But he was keeping the dream alive in the NFL.
Those stories are like kind of part of the problem, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, he did it.
Kurt can do it.
Trying to think of the hockey equivalent to that. There's been some really cool hockey stories where guys have grinded and then
finally
got
get
up.
The call up.
I don't know if it happens as much in basketball, because basketball kind of seems like if you're not good at 18, 19, 20, you're discarded. Like you're going to play pickup at the YMCA. That's the rest of your life.
You're getting a few more stories, I would think, Shink, in the NBA with now that they have the G League, or the developmental league. But definitely before, if you didn't, right? If you come out of college, if you weren't hot coming out of college, then that was the end of that in basketball. But yeah, once again, too, the NFL, you're talking about, some more significant numbers. So if to keep the dream alive, you only need a couple of years, and you might be set for a good portion of your life, too, in the National Football League. The Canadian Football League is amazing, but a couple of years in the Canadian Football League won't set you up for life.
And football is the sport. Football is maybe a lot like basketball, where if you don't come out guns a-blazing, like after college or during college, there isn't, like, what's your other option? Like, maybe come up to the CFL, maybe go to the Arena League, or if that's still a thing. NFL Europe's dead. I know they got like men's leagues and stuff down in the States, and then it'd be really good football. But it's not like, it doesn't, hey, correct me if I'm wrong, 936-6262, text in. It doesn't seem like hockey, where, okay, well, you can go play here, Southern U.S. You can go play Eastern, Western. You can go over to Europe. You can go to
Europe,
It seems like there's a lot of options for hockey guys. Baseball, same thing. There's
a lot
always
of leagues.
A lot of these little baseball leagues. Single A, double A.
Triple A, yes.
Yeah, all the A's. Yeah. But in football, it seems like life comes at you really quick after college. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's I think that's 100% right. And the other thing too about football too, Shane, because there's not, there's hockey, you can always keep the bag around. You can always keep the hockey bag around and the sticks and the skates, and you can find a league, and somebody's got some ice time, and there's a non-contact league, and there's a contact league, and there's a no slap shot league, and there's a rec league, and there's a beer league, and you can play hockey forever. When you take off the shoulder pads and the football pads the last time, that is it. You're not putting those back on. There might be some other. I remember in Calgary when I was there was a tackle football league, and I always thought that is the dumbest thing. That is, why would you do that? You're just asking for lifelong injuries. Why would you do that?
Daryl Leeson plays in it. We interviewed him when the Rams were making the run. He still slings it. He got hurt bad. But yeah, I think it's fantastic if you can do it. But yeah, football
if you can come out
that,
of it unscathed.
Yeah, football is that sport where it's like, oh yeah, I still got the pads and the pants and the shoes and cleats and everything. I can strap them on and go and play. No, you still got flag. Flag league is huge. Flag league is intense. Yeah. The touch league used to be really good, but flag's kind of taken over. But yeah, you're right. It's not like hockey where it's like, yeah, I might play a couple of years of senior. That's okay. So that's the other thing. Don't get senior hockey and like beer league adult safe mixed up, because senior's like still legit. Like it's like a kind of like a minor pro thing going on.
Really good players in senior hockey, man.
Really good. Speaking of that, let's give a shout out here. Cole Cusitar from Churchbridge on the weekend. We had it running in news. Scary situation. Video at the Monday Nooner. I think we retweeted it to the Sports Cage as well. It's kind of sounds like a little mix-up in the around the circle area. He fell down, basically got his face cut from his jaw to his ear. 80 stitches. They rushed him as fast as they could to whatever the nearest hospital or facility was. He's recovering, but Cole, that's good to hear. Oof.
Yes.
It's scary, and one of those freaky things that happens, like a couple weeks ago when I talked about my son getting his Achilles cut. Luckily, it wasn't deep and thick and cut right through the skate, though, and we had blood action, so I went and bought the no-cut stockings. But this and it's like, why didn't they wear face protections? Well, because if you're not a hockey player, you don't really get how it works, especially when you're playing senior hockey. You're not going to go, unless you've kind of lost an eye or this has happened to you and you're like, hey, I've played the luck. Like, it's just not really how it works. And I'm not going to sit here and explain it to you, but yeah, Cole up in Churchbridge and everyone there, good job everyone that helped him out and got this taken care of.
Very scary.
Oh,
yeah,
I would.
And you think about it, not to be paint the sport in a dark way or think of it in a dark way or things that could happen in a dark way, but there's guys out there. Everybody's got a pair of razor blades on their feet and things. People are flying around, and you're just surprised it doesn't happen more often. But it does every once in a while. A good friend of mine used to play on the U of S Huskies men's hockey team, Jeremy Stasiak. He was playing over in Europe, and he ended up smoking this guy. He had a visor on. He ended up drilling this guy in an open ice hit in the neutral zone, and the guy's stick went up when he did a flip because he just leveled this guy. The guy did a flip. His stick went up, flipped up Jeremy's visor, and then the next thing that came up was his skate, the guy that he leveled straight across Jeremy's face, and unfortunately cut his eye in half, and that was the end of his eye. But you don't really hear about these things too often, especially when guys have visors on. But every once in a while I can. And you know, like I said, there's guys out there, there's 10 guys out there and 2 goalies with a pair of razor blades each on their feet, and people are flying all over the place, and you just thank God it doesn't happen more. But it's almost surprising that it doesn't.
It's like Adam Johnson that passed away over in England. He's 29 years old, and it was a couple of years ago, right? That guy's skate came out with kind of a freak accident. They were in I don't know if that guy ever got charged, but yeah, that was. You bring up a good point though. It moves so fast. Like you think about the pro game nowadays, how wild things, don't happen more there. Knock on wood. Yeah, because it moves really fast. It is the all new Sports Cage. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the stream, sportscage.com, and as always, we're on the home of the Saskatchewan Roughrider, 620 CKRM. It's getting to that time of the year, maybe it's not. It's a little more. I always feel like February-ish is when curling starts firing, and it's like, I'm intense in curling. And last year the Briar was here. That was a ton of fun, and especially the guys the patch was good. People did a good job there. The support, just of course, you know what it's like in Sasky when you put on a curling event in Saskatchewan. No brainer. There's something big going on in Swift Current this week. Dave Thomas is checking it out. We're gonna talk about that this week. But on the weekend, it was the team from Saskatchewan, skipped by Randy Bryden, that took home the Canadian Senior Men's Curling Championship, Idzy. You know that name, Randy Bryden.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
The Bryden family. They won like 17 provincial championships between the whole family. Son Josh is going over to Europe with their U of R team, curling the World University Games this year. But it was in Moncton, New Brunswick, and they captured the title. So this team was Randy Bryden, Troy Robinson, Russ Bryden, and Chris Semenchuk. And like I said, Josh is repping Canada at the World University Games in Italy in January. So the Bryden found big curling name in the province. Congratulations to Randy, Troy, Russ, and Chris capturing the title. It's at SportsCage.com. If you want to go read the story, check out the picture of the fellas there. Very nice. Congratulations. I would really...
It almost seems...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it almost seems a little early for
a Canadian championship.
Right? Like it seems like all that stuff is normally decided. Brier, Scotties, Worlds, all that is, March, April, end of February, March, right around there, April, beginning of April. But anyway,
that's what I said. I guess. Seemed a little early to be talking about a Canadian championship.
Yeah. Not too early to start talking about curling, though. Like my mom and dad, Ray and Hope, I think they're listening right now. They love the Blue Jays, as you know. We talk about that all the time, and your mom, Dolores, does as well. But my folks love the curling. Any type of curling on, they are watching curling. Like even, I think it was 2 weeks ago, there was something big going on with curling. I don't know, one of the Pinty's events.
It was in the Maritimes.
Is that what it was?
Oh, it's huge.
Okay.
Crowds were huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're really cool arena there actually as well too. I went over to my parents' house, and we were supposed to do something. And anyway, I basically just got I got the Heisman. It just kind of said, you know what, we're good. Derek, we're gonna watch the curling, and we're gonna stay in here. Might zip over to Markham Mall really quick, get a couple things. Besides that, we're good. Why don't you come by next weekend? Maybe we'll do something with you next weekend.
Our parents need to get together because that is exact. If there's curling on, big event. Dell is locked on the TV. My dad, rest in peace, there, Walter Pole Walter, but he used to swear, yell at the TV, like, the psycho videos you see now of NFL guys, and not to the point where he'd pick up the TV and throw it to the wall, but he used to get so mad, passionate curling fans in Saskatchewan. And do we put on a good event?
We always do. And one thing that's really, really big with curling in events in Saskatchewan, as you know this, Shink, is that the volunteers, they almost have to turn people away. They're like, we don't have, we're full. We got all the volunteers we need. And people are still like wanting to volunteer. They just want a jacket or a pin, something that says they were a part of it. They were a volunteer. That's our province, though. That's how awesome we are.
And Kindersley this year has, Benny Walchuk's talked about it. That's why the Kindersley Clippers had so many of their home games to start the year, because that they're basically taking over the rinks there for the men's and the women's provincial championships. Like, that town is going to be awesome. What is it, the Red Lion? Is it the Red Lion in Kindersley, one of the big bars there? It's a nice little Greek restaurant right on the side of the road there. Oh, that place will be humming.
Yeah. That lounge will be humming for sure. Everything will be,
There's a hotel out in the brand new hotel. We stayed for a hockey tournament on the edge of the city, and all that's there is the Boston Pizza. I went to Boston. I don't know how many times I went to Boston Pizza that week.
I think it's a Canalta.
Yeah, it is. Kindersley.
Yeah, we're little shout-outs.
That'll be great. I know Roscoe's up from Kindersley. I don't know if he's listening today.
You know what they got in Burger King? You know what they got in Kindersley? Sorry, I gave it away there. You know what they got in Kindersley? I was surprised because I drive through it a lot on my way to Calgary. They got a Burger King now. I didn't know they had a Burger King. They got a Burger King now to add to it. There's another stop there in Kindersley.
Hang on. Pick up a Whopper Jr. just to tide you over until you get to the Cowtown. Okay, I'm hoping for audience participation in this as we go along here, but I really I've always wondered, am I crazy? And where do I land when it comes to Christmas music? Am I way over here, or a lot of people over here? I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, Mariah Carey. Like, as soon as you hear that song, All I Want for Christmas. But we really only hear it for a month out of the year, and it's a damn good tune. So I told these two guys, and I think reluctantly, they're like, okay, yeah, sure, we can do it. I want over the next, so I got like 2 weeks basically of hosting the show. You'll be on next week with me too. Over the next 2 weeks here, we're going to have like a little 16-song bracket. And I know it's like rock stations do brackets, and then, other sport, like, but I want to do a bracket, and I want to get down to brass tacks on what do people really think. And people are going to be able to vote on Twitter, on X, a couple times a day. We're going to maybe a couple times a show. We'll have, Jose Feliciano up against Wham. And we're going to see who gets the most votes. Jose's playing out of the international side of the bracket. But yeah, and Wham is too. So yeah. I want to get people's engagement. I want to get their thoughts on it. So, okay.
I like this.
And to be an absolute, kind of, a lot of the songs I'm gonna handpick, but there's probably that 6 or 7 that I really need to know. What do you, Bidsy? Let's go. What, you got a pen and paper there, Coulson? We're gonna need a pen and paper over the next day here, because we're gonna ask Eric Francis. I'm gonna ask Eric. We're gonna ask Trevor Harris. We're gonna ask Darian Durant. We're gonna see, like, when it comes to, and don't. So this is the other thing. Don't say, Silent Night. Like, no, we want like the song that you'd hear on like a radio. What's on? They're playing on Play 92 or The Wolf or CJWW in the morning with Cody and Gloria, or with Colin here. Like, I want to get down to, what do people really think is the best Christmas song? You both have your mics close to you. Who wants to go first between the C's here?
Yeah, get the CNC department going.
Not Silent Night, just silence. Just no music. Not a Christmas music guy.
Well, that answers that.
Don't turn his mic on for the rest of the show.
All right. Taken care of. I've been so busy working on putting the bracket together, I haven't even thought of my song. So
you got to have one when you hear it. You kind of start tapping your foot a little bit.
You know what? Okay. Mary's Boy Child, Boney M.
Yes, it's in. That is in the bracket. That is probably seeded 100%. Top 6. Top 6 seed. You can even seed him if you want, Coulson.
All right.
Okay. First text came in. I dated a girl once back, like, long time ago, and her family was huge on this song. I felt it a little bit. I thought it was a little bit weird, but it's not bad. Okay. Snoopy and the Red Baron. Lots of people love that one.
It's a good one.
Yeah, you would think it's just silly, but no. Yeah, it's
okay. See, look at, good job, Roscoe. I mentioned Kindersley, and Roscoe's right on it.
Yeah, right.
So
there.
Roscoe's pick is, and we might need this one too, Coulson. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. Now, I don't want anyone to get offended by that and cancel us or anything like that. It's just a song. Yeah, it is just so, if the Dixie Chicks can do Earl, these guys can do Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
That's right.
I should have been a lawyer.
Right. It's just in jest.
Okay, keep them coming. So we got Boney M's. Boney M's hot out of the gate. 6 White Boomers.
Okay, like
that song annoys me.
My parents had the big stereo, the huge wooden box stereo that went all the way down the side of the living room wall, the huge thing that, God forbid, if you ever moved, somebody had to help you move that thing, with the big oak lid that you lifted up. Anyway, the record player in there and all. When Boney M came on, a new company was coming over. Derek, stay away from the squares. Those for company. Company's coming over. Stay away from the.
You're running around in your Raiders pace setters.
I'm all excited. I've already peeled the saran wrap off the little dainty square tray on the kitchen table.
Why
right? It's all
wouldn't a
wrapped
guy?
up. Gotta keep them fresh. I found the opening. You just sneak one right through the opening. You can get an Nanaimo bar, something right out of there, a little Rice Krispie square, right out of that little gap there in the saran wrap. Yeah, but Boney M on the stereo, you knew it was just that time of year. You just felt it.
And
you knew the relatives are coming over. Everyone's gonna have turtlenecks on, and they're gonna drink lots of whiskey.
Hope ran over to the Market Mall, probably Lawson Heights back in the day, got herself a new blouse. Ray got himself it's cologne day for Ray. Oh yeah, I know. We're from the same, cut from the same mold.
My mom had a nice brooch on. There's always a nice brooch.
A brooch. Yeah, people need to bring brooches back. We need more brooches out there. Thistle Hair, the Christmas Bear, Alabama. I think I know that one. I haven't heard that one in a long time. Travis on the text line, Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues. He says, great Christmas tune. Questionable if that would be radio friendly. So we can't play any of them because we're on YouTube now. And if we've been YouTube, they'll crack down. They'll get mad at us, yell at us. We'll have to sit in a room. We go to probation again.
Timeout. YouTube timeout.
They give you a stern talking to. Some lady with a brooch gives you a stern talking to.
The brooch with a lot of hairspray in her hair, and she tells you what's what. I got one though that this is one that I really like, Shank, and maybe a lot of people don't even know the title to it. But anyway, as soon as you hear it, anyway, but it's "Step Into Christmas" by Elton John.
Yeah, you put that down. That could make the list, Colson. That's a good tune. That is catchy.
It gets you going. It's got a little speed to it, a little pep to it. I like that one. To Step Into Christmas, Elton John.
Okay, we got 3 hours to do this. Maybe when we come back quickly before we get to sporting events, I'll give the guarantees that are going to be in the Shanks guarantees, because these ones have to be in. Like they have to.
Is Bob and Doug in there? Or we're going to wait to see?
It's called the Tease. You're watching the all new SportsCage streaming at sportscage.com. Juan Soto signs a monumental contract in the Major League Baseball world. With $765 million. They just couldn't go to 770. We're going to keep her at Cohen, the owner of the Mets. Do you know what he's worth nowadays?
I heard it's somewhere around, what is it, 20 billion, 18 billion? Something like that?
Yeah. It's gone up to it's like $22 billion he's worth. When he bought the Mets, he was worth like a measly 16 million or billion or something.
Mm-hmm.
$765 million to play baseball. And obviously a lot of people are hoping, unless you're a Mets fan, you are just like, we don't want the Yankees to win and the Mets to win, and anybody that is spending this crazy amounts of money, we want the underdog to win.
Mm-hmm.
We got Eric Francis coming up for Southie Mainline Chrysler, the new king of trucks in Southie, Saskatchewan, and our NHL Insider in hour 2 here to start just after news. There is a trade in the NHL. The Colorado Avalanche have traded Alexander Georgiev and Nikolai Kovalenko to the San Jose Sharks in exchange for Mackenzie Blackwood and Giovanni Smith. Interested to get Eric Francis's take on that one. San Jose is in a hard rebuild, so we'll talk to him about that. How about the news that Canadian running back Chuba Hubbard?
Chuba Hubbard, yes. With the
1,000-yard NFL, first one since Ruben Mays. Shout out, North Battleford.
Ruben Mays.
Speaking of good songs, Ruben James. Too bad that wasn't a country song. Kenny Rogers, that's a heck of a tune. Anyways, Ruben Mays from North Battleford.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to love him growing up because first of all, he was awesome. Second of all, one of those things, right? You just associate yourself. Oh, if Ruben Mays can do it, maybe I can do it, and I'm going to be in the NFL. But he had one of the best posters. They used to have the best NFL posters back in the day when we were growing up, whether there was guys holding on to like a lion or Ruben Mays. I don't know what, I think he was like something in a in a junkyard
Back alley
or something
of-
like that. A back alley busting
Back
through
alley
something.
of
And
North Battleford behind the Met. Remember they used to have the Met there. That was the big store when you drove into town, or the Tropical Inn. Oh,
yeah, the trouble
that was a
we've talked
great hotel. Who doesn't want a poolside flapjack? I always said that was ahead of its time. That little hotel up there on the hill in North Battleford. So many people out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, the bracket. We only got 16 spots. Like, this is tough to make. Sharky texted and said no Boney M ever. Tough, Sharky. Boney M is like saying.
No. Can't agree with you on that.
It's like saying Texas isn't in the college football, or Ohio State. They're there. Get over it. The problem, okay, here, people out there.
The problem with that is Alabama's not in.
We'll get to that with Arash tomorrow, I'm sure. Okay, the problem, people out there that are sending in text, thank you very much. Capital Ford Lincoln text line 936-6262. We have a problem on our hands. Is Boney M, are we going Mary's Boy Child? Or what's the other? Is it Feliz Navidad? There's 2 songs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So how do you pick?
They do both very well. I don't know.
It's like,
or does Boney M get multiple entries, or is that just too much?
No, I think if they deserve it, strength of schedule style, if they're that good, then you put them both in.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like Ohtani, he can pitch and hit. We're not going to choose one. He's good at both.
Yeah. Boney
Mary's
M is
Boy Child.
Christmas time.
I think Mary's Boy Child, from the text we're getting, would be the front runner. What the heck is the name of the other one? Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad.
Okay, here are these ones, unfortunately, have to go in.
Okay.
My idea rule. Remember when you were a kid? No, it's my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are going to agree on this. Not everybody, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Has to go in. Probably a top 4 seed. Okay. Band-Aid. Do they know it's Christmas?
For me, it's top 5 for sure.
Auto. Exactly. I don't know where this one will land, but it was a very popular. It was one of the most popular Christmas songs before Mariah Carey came out. Wham! Last Christmas. UK, Europe entry.
It's not playing in my head right now, but I gotta think.
Yeah, it's kind of slower, but it's good. George Michael killed it. Such a good song. Okay, so Boney M, we're going to have to figure out if we're going Mary's Boy Child or Feliz Navidad. We'll get back to you on that. Okay, and this is, personally, this is my top seed going into the bracket challenge for Christmas songs. No questions asked. I think it is possibly the best song ever written. Like, I know John Lennon, Imagine, did some crazy things. Mm-hmm. I think this is the best, could be the best song ever written. Dolly Parton, Hard Candy Christmas. Top seed.
Wow. Number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed.
Well, it has to be if it's the best song ever written. Oh, wow.
And could be number 2 seed. Kenny and Dolly, I'll Be Home for Christmas. Alan Jackson, Let It Be Christmas. Mariah Carey has to be in. Love It or Hate It.
Yeah.
It's one of those things.
Yeah. For sure.
Jose Feliciano, like I said, Feliz Navidad, International Love. Okay, these are the ones that I'm not sure. People, 936-6262, super popular. Brenda Lee, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. Tough, right?
See, the other thing too here is you hear a lot of these. They make you think of Christmas, but do you really enjoy them? You know, there's
I enjoy them all.
You know,
I enjoy every single almost last Christmas song ever made.
You're
so
pretty
we're gonna leave
Christmas
that one,
guy.
Colson. We might have to. It's kind of like we got to see what they do in their last game thing, and then this one's been redone by Brad Paisley for sure, Garth Brooks for sure, but the original and the classic is Buck Owens. Santa Looked a Lot Like Daddy. Unreal tune. Got to be in. And then my other one, and this is just a selfish one, if we can, it's like the kid on the team that his dad's a good dude. Take him. Late in the draft.
He's fun. He's fun. His dad's
Mom and dad
fun.
are fun. Hang out.
They'll be good for the parents' room.
They'll host the parents' room if all else fails.
Right.
Ice in the bathtub people is Bryan Adams' Reggae Christmas. God, I love that. I played it the other day. My daughter told me to shut it off. I said, no, I pay the bills.
I forgot about that one. That's good. I'm a huge Bryan Adams fan, so anything Bryan Adams I'm up for probably. Yeah.
We got to go to news already?
I forgot about that.
Oh, boo. Let's talk more about the bracket. I'm curious to see.
You filled this, man.
I'm curious to see what Eric Francis wants, what Trevor Harris wants, what Darian Durant. See all new SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. Hey, we're back. Barney Shynkaruk, Derek Bidwell, hour 2. We got Trevor Harris coming up later this hour, Darian Durant in hour 3. Full show. Thanks to everyone who's texting in. Okay, so we're doing the 16 top country songs according to mostly me.
Top Christmas songs.
Top Christmas songs.
You said country songs.
Oh, top Christmas songs. Sorry,
we'll do that.
Some of them are
I'm
by
reading
country
3 things while I go. Bob from Regina, in the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. He says, Lori Morgan, my favorite things. I don't know if I know that one. I'm trying to think. What else do we have?
Lori Morgan.
Yeah, Lori Morgan.
Forgot about her.
That was the early days of CMT as a young adolescent.
The little short,
used to watch a lot of
blonde hair.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of like
Something in
the
red.
same haircut. Yeah, so she had like a pixie cut or something, kind of like Janet from Three's Company.
Yeah.
It was short.
Joyce DeWitt. Yeah. Okay, Gary. 12 Days of Christmas by Jeff Foxworthy. We've got 1 vote for that. See, I'm surprised we haven't got more votes for this one. I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. It's a weird song, but it's popular. Like I said, I like every single Christmas song ever made.
Coming out of the alternative category.
Alternative category, yes. You never know. You're going to know who's upsets who. And then what else did I get here? Dun, dun, dun. More Alabama, more Boney M. What was the one that we said we're going to have to ask people if we should put in? Oh, there was another one. We'll get to it. If you got any Christmas songs that must go in, 936-6262. Bracket will start tomorrow. Intense stuff. Let's go.
It's time to talk hockey on the all-new Sports Cage with NHL analyst Eric Francis. Brought to you by South 8 Mainline, the Mainline Automotive Group's newest king of trucks. South 8 Mainline, just 30 minutes north of Regina. Worth the drive every time. Guaranteed.
Eric Francis, if you're watching the stream, you see him there looking dapper as per usual.
There it is.
I'm trying to wrap my head with a coffee. What do you got in there?
Yeah.
I mean, you strike me as a tea guy.
I am a tea guy, but at 50, at my advanced age, never had a cup of coffee in my life. Now I can't stop drinking lattes. I know that doesn't go over big in the Regina set, but like I'm telling you, it all started with espresso martinis. That was my gateway to coffee. Isn't that weird? Usually, something's a gateway to alcohol. This was the other way around. Yeah. Now I drink a latte a day. My wife says it's not very good.
There's you need to get a barista or whatever my wife bought, that contraption. You see it everywhere now. It's got the cylinders with booze, and then you buy the little like K-cup almost things, and she makes espresso martinis in this thing, Eric, and they are like, it's like we're at the barber shop in Las Vegas. They're so good. I'll send you a picture.
I love that reference. The barbershop's one of the greatest bars left in America.
You got it.
Oh, that's awesome.
See? It's going to hang out more.
And by the way, come on. Do we have to address this here and now? 2 things. First of all, that shirt that Bidsy's wearing, what is that? Marijuana on there? Are those little marijuana buds? I can't tell.
Yeah. No.
Second of all.
No.
No, they're okay. You explain yourself first. What is that?
I don't know. I think there's some type of flowers or whatever. I don't know. I got it at the Kananaskis golf course. I thought it was a sharp little tarp. I didn't have a golf shirt that day. Went into the shop.
What did you show up in, a T-shirt?
You went in the shop with no tarp on?
No, I don't know. Something happened to it. I don't know. I went in there and bought this, or I bought it after. I can't remember. It's from Canada. It's a nice. I like it. I like it.
Okay, what's the second thing?
What's the second one? We got to address.
Second thing is it's not espresso. It's espresso. I can't believe there's still people in the world who don't have that right. It's espresso. E-S, no X in espresso.
You talked about lattes, and immediately when you started talking about lattes, Curtis put his mic to us because he's got a man bun on. So today,
oh boy.
Nothing about lattes, but completely unrelated. We don't do callbacks here, but we will for today. Last time Eric was on, he was like, "Man, I really wish I had that elf costume, you know." Like, so I made a little early Christmas present just for a man Eric over there.
oh,
Look at him. He's looking so sharp.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sucking
That
back
is
an
a great
espresso.
look. Yeah.
Couple
espresso and outfit like
Just
that,
fresh
and
off
head
the
to the
latte.
barbershop.
Okay, what's the deal with this trade that went down today?
Well, look, Colorado's desperately been trying to. I don't think they can be considered a contender. I know they've got two of the, one of the best forwards, if not the best forward this year in the NHL, and without question, the best defenseman we've seen in the last 5 years, and probably for the next 10 in Cale Makar. But I don't think they can be considered a legitimate contender, and I don't think they can be a legitimate contender with that goaltending they've had for the last couple of years. Even the year they won the cup with Grubauer in net, it's a miracle that they overcame a guy like Grubauer to win that cup. Like, you look what Grubauer is now. He's hanging by a thread. His career is pretty much over. And so what they're doing is they go and acquire Mackenzie Blackwood today. It's a pretty significant trade, guys. I mean, we always kind of moan about there's not enough trades in the NHL. Well, we're starting to see more, it seems like, these days. And I'm not convinced Mackenzie Blackwood is the answer, but I am pretty convinced that he's better than Georgiev, who's a pending UFA, and they really got nothing invested in him moving forward. So I like the move. I'm not sold on Blackwood, but one of the stats that jumps out at me is, like, he's had 4 shutouts in his career, over 40 saves. I think he's one of only like 3 goalies that have ever done that. So when he's hot, that shows me that he can be pretty hot. But we'll see. He's got to be a massive upgrade, in my opinion, to Georgiev. So they paid handsomely for Blackwood, which I think shocks a lot of people. But I actually think, big picture, they had to do something with that goaltending.
I kind of forgot that he was even around. Like, I'm like, Blackwood. I'm like, where's he playing? I guess they don't watch a lot of San Jose Shark games nowadays.
Right. He's in the backwoods, right?
Yeah, for sure. I remember, obviously, when he was at the Devils. So like you said, it's good to see a trade come down. Kay, are we going to play the video, or are we worried about going to jail again? YouTube jail. We don't have to play it. If you don't want to play it, don't play it. The teddy bear toss, if anyone saw this, we retweeted it at sportscage.com. Teddy bear toss, first time I've ever seen this. Teddy bear toss, and then a fight, a partial brawl breaks out. Where is it? Is it in Ottawa? Is that where it was, Eric?
Ottawa 67s. Yeah. They're playing a game. I think it's against Barrie and Bedlam. Not like just pandemonium. Like pandemonium. That's maybe where it comes from. Anyway, this story just cracks me up. And there's also another story over the last week. Michael Misa, a pretty highly touted prospect, was in another teddy bear toss game.
We have that video.
Get there, but
we have that video.
Show these videos because it's fantastic. Misa's the guy kind of meandering back towards his bench against the grain there. And he's firing teddy bears
with his stick
back into the crowd.
But I wouldn't say firing. Like, he's barely... And he's getting suspended for this.
Yeah, he's getting suspended a game for it. It is... I don't think it's that big a deal, but it is kind of disrespectful. And I don't think at any time are you ever really allowed to wantonly send something back into the crowd unless it's a puck that you're just giving to a fan. Like, generally speaking, it's frowned upon to fire projectiles back into the crowd.
I can't believe... can't see why he's getting suspended for it. The brawl at the teddy bear toss, though. It's like the first time we saw two guys go at it in an outdoor game, right? It was like, that's got to happen. Fighting, it's like fighting on the ODR. So the fighting when the teddy bears rain down.
It's a line brawl.
It's a
straight line brawl. Like all 5 guys are involved. There's guys on the ice, on their bellies. In a couple of cases, 2-on-2. It's pretty incredible. Like all I kept thinking about as those guys are doing that is them telling the story 5, 10, 15 years from now about the time they got into a line brawl while 20,000 teddy bears rained down on top of them. That's a great story.
If you want to see the video, 'cause we don't want to get in trouble, you can go see it at the SportsCage on Twitter. It's fantastic stuff. Our clutch performer for Nick Service and Emmer Park's coming up here in a bit, but I feel like we need to give one to Jaromir Jagr. I again forgot that he's still playing.
Yeah. Well, part of why he's playing is he's trying to save that franchise, right? He owns that team in his hometown and Clodno, and he said many times when he was playing here in Calgary, like it's hanging by a thread, and he doesn't want to ever retire because when he retires, people are like, well, now there's absolutely no reason to go see Clodno. So he's playing spot duty. He's not signing. He's not playing every day, but he got a goal the other day at age 52, and this guy is without question the biggest enigma in the history of the NHL. And I would argue one of the biggest rock stars our sport's ever had, in a sport where rock star is not a term we ever use to describe anytime, right? I mean, guys are generally pretty bland. They blend in. They're team guys, good Western Canadian kids. But when he was in town in Calgary, I wrote this story a couple of years ago, and I couldn't believe the traction it got. Like, he was so different. He was the only guy ever granted a key to the dressing room because he only slept in 4-hour increments, and he would get up at any time of the day or night and head over to the dome. Like 2 a.m, he had a key to the Saddle Dome, would go in and skate at 2 a.m, 4 a.m, midnight, didn't matter to him. And they just let him do it because he's friggin' Jaromir Jagr. Like, the rock stars get whatever they want. And another story that their guy told me, like, they used to call his stall around, and he was the only guy who's ever asked for a corner stall. Nobody wants the corner stall, but he wanted it because he always had 6 or 7 pairs of skates in front of him, and he had sticks, he had voodoo dolls, he had all sorts of stuff like Jobu. It was, and they used to called his locker stall Sport Check. They used to call it Sport Check because he had so much equipment there. It was like you could go get anything you wanted, and he brought a bottle of water that he said was blessed by the Pope, and it still is in the Calgary Flames equipment manager's locker room, and no one ever touches it. They're terrified to do it. Legend has it that one former Flame player, current Flame player, and I won't say who it was, actually was in a bad streak, and took a little bit of the holy water, just like a water bottle, and he sprinkled it on his stick, on his tape, and he went -3 that night and never did it again. And Jagr, they don't even know what Jagr used to do with it, but he'd take it into a private room and then bring it back out after every game. So just when you say Jaromir Jagr, I put a big smile on my face because I say they'll never make another guy like that.
Yeah, and he's probably laughing while he's like, so these guys in Calgary, who I told them it's from the Pope, and they still to this day have it on the shelf. They think it's from the Pope. Yeah,
100%. It's probably not from the Pope at all. I get that, but he was very religious. So I'm not sure he'd lie about something religious because he had a cross that they would sew into his glove. He wanted it sewn into his glove, and he would switch gloves every single week. So they had to rip it out and then sew it back into another glove every single week. And that was Jaromir Jagr. Love it.
The key to the rink thing, that is like so small town Sasky. Yeah. Like, my dad had a key to the rink, so I would just go and skate. Meanwhile, it's the Saddle Dome. Wow.
Yeah. Wasn't that like a scene from Youngblood? Isn't that Rob Lowe working on his penalty shots or something like that? Wasn't it? Didn't he go into the rink on his own in the middle of the night or something like that?
Well, he was. They have the scene setter where he's out there doing and he kicks the puck up and all that, but I don't know if he had
I've wanted to show my son that movie for years, and I can't even remember. Like, I haven't watched it since like 40 years ago when it came out.
What do you need to know? I watch it like 10 times a year.
You can't find it. I can't find it anywhere.
You got to buy it on one of the streaming services. You got to buy it. So
that negates me. I can't do that. I can't.
It's the same price as a espresso martini. So I'm sure you can get it.
I can't find it. I'm serious. Okay.
I'll ask my wife where she found, and then I'll send you the link. Okay, what I heard today that there is some soft tampering by the Sens owner. Did I read that right?
Yeah, so they're at the Board of Governors meetings, and Michael Andlauer pulled a couple guys aside and really went to town, moaning and complaining about a column that Larry Brooks wrote in the New York Post last week, saying that basically opining that, the New York Rangers at some point might or could or should take a run at Brady Tkachuk. And listen, anyone can connect two dots and suggest that, some team wants to take a run at the biggest unicorn in the National Hockey League. Like, who wouldn't want to take a run at him if you're a big market city and you're used to getting all the big names? But Andlauer sees this as what he calls soft tampering, because he's claiming that this was information that the Rangers have somehow parlayed to a writer, and the writer is doing it on behalf of the organization to some degree, and it's considered soft tampering because it now puts the seed of doubt in there, or at least puts the seed in the mind of Brady Tkachuk that, geez, if I don't want to stay in Ottawa, which a lot of people figure eventually he'll come to that conclusion, that it started here with some soft tampering. And I'll say two things about it. Michael Andlauer is a very interesting character who I think is going to become known as one of the biggest thorns in this commissioner's side, because he's not scared to kind of make these sort of accusations out loud and stir the pot. And the second thing is, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that just because some guy wrote it, like, what's the next thing? Some blogger in his basement writing something similar and someone claiming that this is tampering? It's just a court of public opinion. Like, if they can connect Larry Brooks with an interview with an owner or, someone with the Rangers, then you've got a case. But until you can prove it with an email or something, there's no story here.
I was going to ask you about the Jacob Trouba trade there, and a lot of people talking about how that went down, or Jacob at least mentioning in some interviews that basically what was happening is that the Rangers, of course, were going to maybe threaten him with putting him on the waivers, and then he wouldn't really have a choice of where he may land, and it ended up being in Anaheim, which I thought was a pretty good spot to land. Hey, if you're going to go from the New York Rangers, Anaheim's not that bad. I mean, hey, I would have taken that for sure.
Depends if you want to win or not.
I mean, I guess soft spots to land, but it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a place that you don't want to live, and they are also not a very good team. But maybe just a little bit more of your thoughts
Ottawa.
on that trade. Yeah.
Could be Ottawa. Anyway, I listen, I guess it all boils down to me, Bidsy, is that the notion that, a player is protected by a no trade clause, or in this case, a partial no trade clause, is absolutely laughable to me. If you make it clear as an organization, which clearly the Rangers did in various ways, like we've known for a while that they've wanted to get rid of Trouba. And it's got to be an awful feeling for an athlete, for a human being, to work somewhere where it's being made known by your employer that you're not long for that company or that you're not wanted there. And so Trouba can fight it and scratch and claw all he wants and moan and complain. And I actually think he's handled it quite professionally. But at the end of the day, when an organization decides they're going to move on from you for whatever reason, for conduct, for your play, or for your salary, they're just going to be able to do it 9 times out of 10. So a lot of people are really coming down on the Rangers for kind of handling this in what some people thought was a really harsh way by threatening waivers. But at the end of the day, they were going to make a move no matter what. So if they could work in some sort with the player, then the player would have some say as opposed to going on waivers. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make it all this.
I love it. It's like that Seinfeld episode where Costanza just won't leave. And they keep like pushing him down and down. It's like, yeah, they know they don't want him here, but yeah, then just make their life hell. Fight fire with fire.
Exactly.
Okay, when we're talking about trades in New York, and anyone that's ever been to we've talked about this, you ever been to a game in Madison Square Garden, you get why they love playing there. Like, I went to a Sunday game against the Coyotes, and I felt like I was in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. It was crazy. Yeah. What would be, I kind of think I know, what would be the top 3 or 5-ish cities that a player would want to go to right now in this current NHL?
Ooh. Like the Rangers would have to be there. Not just because I think they're a contender. I know they've struggled to start this year, and there's all sorts of issues there, but it's a blue shirt. It's the blue shirts, man. Like, it's Madison Square Garden. It's New York City. It's the entertainment capital of the world, that arena.
Has Vegas jumped up to and then you got the no state tax thing.
Oh yeah, Vegas is like top 2 or 3 probably amongst the players in the league. Like, you go there, you live in the life. They all
not
live
the wife.
No, they all live in this great spot. In Summerlin, Vegas is up there. Okay, let's go. Vegas. You want to say Leafs, but it's not. Like, Leafs, so many people don't want to be part of that, that cesspool of, and all the scrutiny and all that. So, I'd say the blue shirts, Tampa and both the Florida teams are still very much in demand. Tax reasons, weather reasons. Like, it's hard to compete with those sort of places now that they've established themselves as world-class organizations in world-class cities and great hockey markets too.
No state tax in Dallas, and you get a lot of house for, just a lot of area. Like, if you don't want to live in the condo-ish Chicago, Philly, New York.
Brownstone.
I would think Dallas would be in there.
100%. And you and I both, we've talked endlessly about how much we think of the team right now too, and how that window is probably there for the next 3 or 4 years for them to be a legitimate contender. You combine the weather there. And plus they have a real nice touch there. When you go to Dallas, when you go to the games, they've got little stickers in every window that say no firearms inside. And I think that's really comforting to know that, you can play a game and not worry that anybody's got a machine gun or anything in their arms. It's a nice touch.
Yeah. What a marketing idea. Those stickers should be sponsored by somebody.
But a firearms company.
That's good.
Smith & Wesson.
Yes, we got to. Before we let you go, we're building. Using that term loosely, top 16 Christmas songs of all time. A bracket. Top seed for sure. No, hands down is Dolly Parton, Hard Candy Christmas. But what if Eric Francis could put a tune in?
Let's go along with it.
In here.
I'd put Elvis's Blue Christmas, but the one that because I think that would have a chance in a bracket to get through a couple rounds. But my favorite of all time won't make your top 16, I guarantee you. It's called Candy Cane Lane by Sia. You ever heard of it?
By who?
Sia.
Seal?
He's like a pop star.
Seal.
It's just
not Seal. Sia.
Not Seal. Sia.
Kiss from a Rose style.
Seal? Oh, I know that guy. Okay, he's a good singer. I don't remember the song though.
Okay, you know what? If we get a couple more for Blue, I'll have a blue. I know that song. Hey.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
If I can ask you, we got to settle a debate here because Boney M's in the tournament, but Boney M's got two songs. They got Feliz Navidad and Mary's Boy Child.
Oh my Lord.
Which one do we go with?
The one I was singing, oh my Lord.
I think it's Feliz Navidad he's singing, isn't it?
No, it's hard to tell what
Mary's Boy Child. That's Mary's Boy Child. Okay, Colson.
Is it? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long time ago in Bethlehem.
Yeah.
That one?
Okay, Eric says that's one we should go with. Okay, so when you're with Maz.
What do you got?
Well, my list.
I like that one.
I like that. No, I was talking before you were on, we were talking a little bit about the Boney M. I was saying at the Bidwell house, my parents had the big stereo, made out of oak, with a big flip top on. And when the Boney M record went on there, I knew it was Christmas time. I knew my dad, my uncles were going to get into the sauce, get the turtlenecks on. There was going to be some squares, some dainties on the table. I was going to try to get in there. My mom was going to slap my hands, and everybody was going to come over. The ladies would have a nice brooch on and their hair all hairsprayed up, and it was going to be a good night. It was always the Boney M record around Christmas time in our house.
Yeah. And part of that tradition, everyone in your family wore that shirt that you're wearing right now with the little tufts of holly. Because I think that's holly. I can't tell for sure, but I think it's holly in there.
Yeah,
it might be a little bit of holly. We had a tablecloth with this on it, and we brought it out at Christmas time.
Yeah,
and my mom made me this shirt.
If your dad poured an espresso martini, back in the day, it was straight whiskey on the rocks. Okay, we gotta go. We got the boys are telling me we gotta go. When you're with Maz on Wednesday, you guys, we'll see where the bracket's at. We'll see if Elvis makes it, Francis. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Talk to you again.
See you, brother.
Cheers, boys.
That is Inside the NHL with Eric Francis for Southie Mainline. Chrysler, the new king of trucks, 30 minutes north of Regina in Southie, Saskatchewan. Hold the payments for 90 days when you purchase a new vehicle with Southie Mainline. That's good around the holiday season. It's perfect. The new king of trucks, worth the drive every time. Time for a quick break. When we come back, Riders quarterback Trevor Harris. It's the all-new SportsCage, streaming at sportscage.com. Hey, you're looking for a place to host that team fundraiser, get it going at the Canadian Brewhouse. You get a chance to win $2,500. Tons of options to choose from. The Canadian Brewhouse can help you raise the funds for your crew. You get the details online at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Busy. It's time to go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline, and we are joined by our quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The news came down last week. Trevor Harris signed his new deal. He's back with the green and white. Trevor, thanks so much for making some time. I'm sure you're just getting set to do the media loop, and it's busy and all. That's supposed to be the off season for you, right?
Yeah, you know what though, it's good though. I think it's good news, and so I think it's a good stretch for Rider Nation. An improvement with the team, and I really like the way this team is trending. And shoot, it's good to make sure that we're getting out there and talking to anybody and getting everybody riled up and fired up about next season.
How much does family play into this decision? Because I was reading like your wife thought that you were slinging it better than ever last year.
Yeah, it's really become almost everything to me at this point, because the work that I'm sure you can hear, the young one here.
I love it.
As over the last 12 years, you start playing, you're like, I really want to play like as long as I can. And to me, like the first thing I wanted to be able to stay healthy as much as I could. And, there's a few things that happen that you can't prevent, and those things happen. But really, I just wanted to make sure that physical deterioration wouldn't be a reason why I stopped playing. I wanted it to be, whenever it's not right for my family, or, whenever, it's the love of the game, or the will to prepare kind of goes away, or I feel like I've plateaued and like that's just who I'm going to be. And I still feel like I'm ascending, and I feel like I'm going to play my best football right in front of me. And so, if that's the case, and I feel like we can win a championship, why wouldn't we do this?
I think your congratulations is in order. Colson's saying you got another number 4 on the way for you guys.
Yeah, we do. I appreciate it. I'm not sure that it was, planned. We're fired up about it. It was a little bit of a shock, but it's one of those things where, give it about 24, 48 hours, and then just fired up about it now. So
this is a tough one to ask and for guys to answer, but at this point in your career, where you are and what you just mentioned, is it about the money at this point, or is it about the, where you are and the chance to win?
It's a good question, because I think a lot of times people, they say like, it's not about the money. It's not, it is a little bit about money for professional football players. We get paid to do this. And a lot of times, when you're starting to play and you start to see statistics accruing and things that are like, it's like, man, this is really cool. I'm throwing for this touchdown. Like, it's truly about relationships for me at this point. Like, it's not about money. It's not about accruing stats. I honestly could not care. I think stats are for losers. I think that I want to be making sure that I'm putting my team in the best position I possibly can to win football games. And whatever it takes to win a football game, if it's throwing for 120 yards, great. If I need to throw for 550, great. I'll do whatever it takes to win. But more than anything, it's about relationships in the locker room, and those building together are a great building block for great teams. And that's the base of what, you can build in terms of getting championships won. And to me, that's where I'm at this point, is I love the relationships. I can't wait to get back and argue with Sam Emilus that Michael Jordan is greater than LeBron James and like those sorts of things. I like
that's true.
I love the relationship portion of football, and it's just, there's nothing like it. I honestly do love my guys, and that's really what it's become about for me.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm with you. If you need any backup on that one, I'm with you. I got stats and I got points you can make that really puts it over the top.
Stats are for losers. We just covered that.
That's right. Okay.
You can't
Reference
get through these
points,
man. You can't get through to them. I've told them everything in the book. There's been 4 people ever to, I think it's like scoring title, MVP, first team all defense, NBA championship, and finals MVP. There's been 4 people to ever do it. Their names are Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan. But they're like, nah, man, he scored more points. It's like he still doesn't have more 30-point games than MJ, and he's played twice as long. Like, what are we talking about? So I've given him all these points. You can't help Sam. You're never going to get through to him.
The rebuttal I always hear, though, is what did he do before Scottie Pippen?
Okay, but how many top 75 NBA players have they had as teammates?
I think it's MJ.
Listen,
I think it's MJ.
But listen, I don't want this to be misconstrued. LeBron James is unbelievable. He's the second best basketball player ever. Like, he's unbelievable. I think people get too caught up in like, okay, since you say he's not the GOAT, you think he's terrible. He's unbelievable. He's absolutely incredible. He's just, I don't think he's MJ.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to win an argument that says LeBron is a terrible basketball player. But yes, I think it's a little recency bias too, that we throw that out every once in a while too, that people talk about LeBron instead of Michael. But anyway, I think we all know where we stand on that one. It's Michael Jordan. But speaking of LeBron James, he's played very well, Trevor, very well, and for a very long time. In great condition every year. He wants to play every game this year, he says. I don't know if that's going to be the wise thing or if that's going to happen or not, but he says he wants to try to play in every game this year. You're up there in your second half of your career, your latter part of your career, but you're always talked about in the same breath, and that you're always in great shape. Conditioning is a big thing for you. Just your thoughts maybe on the last few years on how that probably has to take, if it hasn't already, maybe a higher priority as you continue to move forward in years on this earth and years in professional football.
Yeah, it's absolutely pivotal. And I have pillars, I have 5 pillars, a couple of them are sleep and hydration. If you're not getting 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep, then you're behind the 8 ball no matter what you do. If you're not properly hydrated, you're behind the 8 ball no matter what you do. And then I have a couple of things, nutrition and mobility. Those things are important. And to me, the most important thing I can provide for my team next year is to be under center all 18 games, playing all of them. And to me, that's what it's about, is making sure that I'm available for all 18. And, obviously 23, I had an unfortunate situation where, a guy fell onto my knee, my legs planted and my leg shattered. It's really unfortunate. And then this last year, I just got it fallen on. And so frustrating things, but at the same time that I know that I can be better in terms of, getting more mobile, getting more, pliable in terms of the things that I've trying to work on. But LeBron James, Tom Brady, those sorts of guys are inspirations for us older guys in the profession, making sure that we're doing all that we can in terms of nutritional, in terms of emotional intelligence, in terms of, keeping physical stress off of our plates, and really doing everything that we can to make sure that we don't deteriorate physically. Because as soon as I start going downhill, I don't want that to be a case, in terms of when I'm done. I want to be, a tier 1 quarterback and being able to put my team in a position to win championships. And if I can't do that, then daggone it, I don't want to put on the green and white, because they deserve more than that. But as I look back on this season, I think that I can still be that for quite a while. And I think we can win a championship. And so let's go get this thing done,
People are curious about this, me included. What does the off season look like for you, Trevor? Like, we're into December here. So are you talk about Tom Brady. I remember, like the kale milkshakes and just weird things that he would do. But like, is it like you don't throw, you're kind of worrying about, this at this point, and then how does that progress as you get ready for May?
Yeah, I'm still working on a couple of those things in terms of restoring full range of motion of my knee. The knee that I hurt this year wasn't fully healthy this year, and for me, I'm getting that kind of cleaned up, getting those sorts of things back to ground zero. But I start throwing here pretty quick. I start throwing here in December, and I used to kind of try and take until about mid-January. And as I kind of went into camp, I started not really liking how my arm felt. I didn't really like how my accuracy felt, a couple years in a row. And so I went back to throwing pretty much year round. And I try and throw with more of my core and glutes and instead of just your arm, and I started working with Rob Williams. I think the guy, his name's QB Motion on Instagram. He does a tremendous job, and he helps me from afar. We do Zoom sessions or FaceTime sessions. And so, just trying to learn more to throw with your core and glutes as opposed to, with your arm only. And just the more you learn, the better you can be, and the more you arm yourself with more, things to get better at. And I just honestly, like, the success that we had this year is our team and our coaches. I absolutely loved playing for Mark Mueller, and I think he's just an absolute ascending star, and I couldn't be more happy to kind of just have the same coordinator for the first time since 2018. And so I'm just really happy and lucky that we have the ability to build on that. Oh, I just saw that. Did you guys see me lay out Cam Judge there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching that too. If you're watching the stream, you're watching some of the highlights.
So close. I almost knocked him on his back.
Go ahead, Vince.
I was just going to say, so talk a little bit more about, you said we start throwing in December. So what does that look like? Is that as the sun sets? Are you throwing footballs through a tire hanging from a rope on a tree? Are you working out at an indoor facility with great receivers? Like, what does it look like for you?
Indoor facility. I hate to say it, but for the first at least few times I throw, I'm a little bit of a fair weather fan in terms of making sure the weather's right. So I go indoors, and I know you guys probably remember Kenny Stafford. He trains receivers out of a gym here in Columbus, Ohio, and him and I work with some quarterbacks there. And so I usually just go there early, and I work on myself throwing a little bit, and then work with some of the kids around here. So,
two quick ones before we let you go. Trey Ford signs in Edmonton. VA's in Calgary. I know there's a quarterback fraternity they talk about a lot. Would you have talked to those guys at all in the last couple of weeks?
I haven't talked to Trey. I talked to VA. I'd say a couple times a month. Great guy, great friend of mine. And I talked to him a little bit after we beat him in the West semifinal, just to kind of check in on him, see how he's doing. And after he signed his deal and or got traded to Calgary, I made sure to check in with him, see how he's doing. But we check in every now and then. I haven't talked to Trey though.
Okay, I lied. Now too quick. This is a quick one. You talked about Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Who's the GOAT when it comes to quarterbacks?
Greatest of all times, Tom Brady. Now, highest ceiling, or who's played the position at the highest level, that's a different one. But in terms of who's the greatest of all time, it has to be Brady.
Okay, yeah, I agree. And lastly, we're doing Christmas song bracket. What's the Christmas song at the Harris household? That's when it comes played a lot around the holiday season.
Kaylee, I have to ask my wife.
We're gonna go.
Let's get a phone a friend for this one.
What's
joy
that?
To the world. I'd say joy to the world.
All right. Hey, well, you keep on progressing. Like we said, congratulations. We can't wait, obviously, to get you back in the fold here. And before we know it, it's going to be May.
Yeah, no, appreciate you guys having me on. Shout out to Rider Nation for bringing it this year. Next year, raise the expectations. It's going to be a great one next year, so make sure you get out there. Can't wait to see everybody again.
Right on. Thanks so much, Trevor.
Thanks
Trevor.
There's our starting quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders right here on the Sports Cage. You're watching it streaming at sportscage.com. Yeah, you can go check out anything you miss in podcast form, as per usually. Curtis will get all that buttoned up there. Good little conversation with our starting quarterback, Trevor Harris. We get the last quarterback to win a Grey Cup in Saskatchewan coming up after 5 o'clock in Darian Durant. It is the we got a new promo, Bidsy. New promo, guys, over here on the Sports Cage the next 14 weeks. If you got a senior hockey player out there, or maybe it's you can nominate yourself. Go nuts. 306-936-6262. You want to text the keyword dangler. That is the shot they have at the Canadian Brew House. We partnered with the Canadian Brew House. Every week, we are going to award a $100 gift card to the Canadian Brew House, to the Dangler of the Week. Like I said, all you got to do is text in Dangler to 936-6262. It could be the player. It could be the coach. Could be the Zamboni driver. Whatever you think. If you want a $100 gift card to the Canadian Brew House.
Now, a $100 gift card to the Canadian Brew House, and you said they got a shot there called the Dangler.
They got a bunch of them.
How many? Okay, the Dangler. How many danglers does that get you for 100? Yeah, that probably gets about 15 danglers, maybe.
I don't know. We might have to find out one night.
I know.
Go blast the Christmas tunes at the Canadian Brew House and get after it.
Okay.
We have to go to our. I know we kind of mentioned it briefly when we were with Eric Francis, clutch performer, and it was Jaromir Jagr scoring at 52 years old. 52 years old. Professional hockey. And he does have that team there. But let's go to the real clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. You can call 781-1077. We're going to the Prairie Junior Hockey League. No games tonight in the league, but it was a 6-1 Pilot Butte victory over Carrot River on the weekend. Ty Fehrenbach, 34 saves in the win. Also, Peyton Kostyuk, 2 goals, and Zach Reeder, 3 assists. So 3 clutch performers, all from the Pilot Butte Storm in the Prairie Junior Hockey League, and it's brought to you by Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey Ferguson Challenger and Rogator dealer. Okay, we'll go back to the text line here. We got Elvis Presley, Blue Christmas. Eric Francis, he wanted it in.
Started something.
Wayne says it's got to be in. We're trying to figure out the top Christmas songs to put in our top 16 bracket. Perry, Hot Take Perry's jumping. I knew Hot Take Perry was going to jump in. Perry, he said, you want a real toe tapper Xmas tune for the bracket? Nothing better than, speaking of CMT back in the day, Susie Bogus. What did I say bogus for? What a nerd. Susie Bogus. Bogus. Oh, that's a tough one for me today. Susie Bogus. 2-Step Round the Christmas Tree. I don't know that song.
I don't know that one
Bogus.
either. You might be thinking there was a Bogus that he was a Saskatchewan. He was a rodeo guy. I want to say he was either saddle bronc.
No. My youth, I was brought up on Susie Bogus. I'm aware of who Susie Bogus is. Drive South. Not a bad video back in the day. So if you would, 936-6262. So and we're going with which Boney M song? Like, we're not putting both of them in. We're going to Mary's Boy Child, or
at this point we're just doing Mary's Boy Child.
Ooh, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
That Snoopy song, we've gotten a couple for that.
The Red Baron
one. It's catchy, very catchy. Yeah. As is, I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. But we only have one on that one.
Yeah, that wouldn't be for me. No. Yeah, I know you love all Christmas songs, and there's a lot of people that do, because they just love the Christmas season like you do. But there are some Christmas songs that I just kind of find a little bit annoying. That'd be one of them.
Yeah. SJHL, and we got our SJHL report coming up tomorrow with Benny Walchuk for Saudi Mainline Chrysler. Flin Flon, they took 2 from Melville up at the zoo this weekend. Melfort, they beat La Ronche twice in a home-and-home. Bidsy, quick, you got 20 seconds. How was that game in Melfort? Did you go for a swim?
Yeah, no, I didn't go for a swim. No. Good crowd of Melfort, always a good crowd of Melfort. Melfort looking very, very strong, as they have all year long. Got a little chippy at the end there, like we thought it would. But, just such a strong team this year, the Melfort Mustangs, again. And, great crowd, great barn there in Melfort. Liked it.
Yesterday in the AAA midget ranks, the Pat Canadians 5-0 over Notre Dame. Huge AAA game Wednesday night here. It's Moose Jaw and the Patsies. And then just one from the AAA female loop. It was PA 2-0 over Johnny yesterday. They play Pilot Mound in a little exhibition. I think it's a friendly, as they call it, this weekend, the female Rebels. Time for a break. 5 o'clock hours coming up. We got the news. After that, we got Darian Durant. It's the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com. One more hour of the program. If you missed any of it, go back, listen in podcast form. Derek Bidwell, Barney Shynkaruk, CNC are with us. Good little chat with Trevor Harris. Caught up with the starting quarterback of our Saskatchewan Roughriders. What did he go with for Christmas song?
Joy to the World.
Joy to the World.
He didn't pick an artist, so...
Yeah, I don't think Joy to the World's going to make the 16. I don't think it's going to make the bracket. Maybe Doubles will have something when we talk to him here momentarily that'll make the bracket. What we're doing is we're trying to... We have 16 songs that are going to be in a bracket. We're going to be putting it on Twitter, getting you to vote. What is the top Christmas song out there according to Sports Cage listeners? We got it, Metro's 11 Days from Christmas. That, no name. Oh, yeah, Clayton sent it in. Clayton, I was waiting for somebody to send that one in. If we get a few more, I think Metro makes the bracket, boys. If you've never heard Metro's, the sour cream starts it, then Petaha, it's classic. And then Mary's Boy Child and Little Drummer Boy, James. Mm-hmm. You got to pick one, James. We're going to go. Mary's Boy Child is there. It could be seed. It could be the second seed at this point in the whole spiel. 936-6262, Capital Ford Lincoln text line if you want to get in on the fun with that. All right, let's go out on the Western Pizza Guest Hotline. Talk to Darian.
The all-new Sports Cage presents Double Talk with Darian Durant. Brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell. Servicing all sizes of trucks, SGI accredited. And Prairie Land Rentals. Whether it's for the farm or the backyard, Prairie Land Rentals can help with all sizes of jobs.
Hey, it's a good day when I don't screw up the time, Darian, like I did the previous 2 weeks. I know it's hard for me to figure out Eastern time to where. Sorry about that, buddy. The last couple of weeks, apologize. Hey, we just had Trevor Harris on. I'm talking to him. Signed the new deal. One of the things we talked about was I asked him, at this point, is it about the money? And he was honest. He said, well, it is about the money, but for him, it's really about the relationships and what they're building and the guys and all that. You must have felt that along the way in your career as well.
Yeah, I mean, you get to a certain point where you've made good money, you've been in position where you're top 2 or 3 paid in the league, and at some point it's about being in a situation that makes sense, being with an organization that supports you 100%, and making sure you're in a spot that can be competitive at all times. So money is very important. It's how guys take care of their families. But you also want to be in a situation where you can maybe form some type of longevity, and that's where the relationships come into play.
Speaking of relationships too, Darian, there's probably also that thought, you're thinking like, when you're in an environment when everything is working, you're getting paid well, the team is doing well, you got some great relationships on there, it checks all the boxes too, right? So it's got to make just work coming to work, preparing for a season that much more enjoyable when you got some of your best buddies that you're going through that with, right?
Absolutely. I mean, no one likes to be at work miserable, and especially when you're in an environment where you're around people, you're interacting with everyone, and it's important to have good relationships and be around people you like, that you can have fun with, and that's what it's all about. I mean, I'm sure everyone in the world would want to be in a position when it comes to work where you're in a situation that you enjoy, that you love your coworkers, you love your bosses, and you're having success as a company at the same time. So if you can ever put yourself in that position where everything, checks all the boxes and you can be in a good situation, it's always ideal.
We talked to him about the off season and kind of, we're into December, and he said, start kind of throwing here in December and maybe it's changed a bit. He's worried about his knee right now. For you, did that change to your off-season regiment, if we want to call that, as you maybe got a little bit older in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how the season went. If you suffered a significant injury or not, if you have some bumps and bruises that need some time to heal up, or you came out the season perfectly healthy or as healthy as can be, and you can start training as soon as the season's over. So it really just depends on the situation. For Trevor, banging that knee and having to spend weeks on the injured reserve list, this is a perfect time for him to rest up and make sure he's good before he starts a serious regimen with his training.
Oh, sorry, Bids. I thought you were going.
Oh, no, sorry. I'll throw another one out to you, though, to Darian as well. Look, when you start getting in your latter stages or in the latter stages of your career, what are some of the things that you think about? Do you start to think about legacy? Do you start to think about when is the right time to go away? I still want to accomplish this. I'm there on the all-time list. Legacy is thrown out a lot lately. Is that something that you felt that you had achieved the things you wanted to, and your legacy was, you were fine with your legacy, and that helped you decide when to walk away and when you decided to retire?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely, keep in mind these personal accolades and where you are on certain lists and, how much time it'll take or how many yards you need to catch up to the next guy. I mean, these are all things you keep it at the forefront of your head. But, in Trevor's situation, to not have that Grey Cup as the standalone guy, even though he's been a part of some winning teams, I think that's more important than anything for any statistical, he'll shatter completion percentage records and he'll creep up on the yardage list. But I think at this point in time, the most important thing for him is getting that Grey Cup as a standalone quarterback. So he wants to make sure he's in a situation that is easiest for him. I'm sure he gave the Riders a pretty friendly deal where they can go out and get some pieces around him that can help out with him achieving that goal. So you have to keep all of these things in mind as you're up there in age and that your last few years are ahead of you. It's all about winning at that point.
Let's maybe look at Edmonton and Trey Ford, young guy going in there. What do you think would be the best as a number two there, if we're going to call it a number two? Is it someone with experience, Darian, where the people can be, hey, why aren't we putting him in? Or do you kind of maybe someone with lesser experience and let Trey cook, for lack of better terms?
Well, I think you kind of get a mixture of both. I think you get a guy that's experienced, but you're not really looking at him as a guy to come in and that could take the job away from Trey Ford. But you also want a guy that could come in and win you some games. So it's kind of that fine line. And I think that's a conversation that you have to have with the guys, the pending free agents, coming in. Look, Trey's our guy. We don't want to put him in a situation where he's looking over his shoulder and has to worry about losing his job. We just want you here to come in case of injury, because Trey has been banged up before. And, you want to make sure you have a guy that can squeak out a couple of games if need be during the season, because we all know how important having a capable backup quarterback is. So I wouldn't necessarily bring in a guy that's still looking to be a starter, who's still looking to revive his career, so to speak. I don't think that's an ideal situation for whoever it is or Trey Ford.
Maybe I'm wrong here, but if we put a coaching hat on, as when you got a number one, let's say a Trevor Harris, do you want your number two guy that kind of same mold, or does it matter if you have someone that's totally different? For lack of a better, let's go Tom Brady backed up by Michael Vick, right? Like total different ends of the spectrum. What do you think, first off, if you were coaching and then as a player?
Well, ideally, you would like to have a guy the same prototype, the same style. You want it to be easy if there's an injury, and game plan wise, you need to just move on to the second guy. You want it to be kind of a similar player, but at the same time, oh my God. Oh my gosh. That's the kids.
I love it. Live radio. Yeah. Hey, Trevor's kids were going crazy too.
Man.
It's kids, man. So you think
Yeah,
that
but,
the same prototype is key?
Yeah, I wouldn't say key, but I think it makes life a lot easier for the coaching staff and game planning wise. But the thing that can happen is when you have a guy that with a totally different style, it makes it tougher on defenses to game plan, right? You have Trevor in there for 8 games. You're looking at film, and then you bring in a more mobile guy who you don't have that much film on. It can make it difficult to prepare for a team like that. So it's pros and cons each way, but, for the sake of being easier, I think you want to have the same style as a backup.
Now, is it even more important in the Canadian Football League to have 2 great guys that fit a system that a team has decided to go with? I know in the NFL, any team, of course, wants to have a great backup. You never know what could happen. But it seems like in the Canadian Football League, there's one more game. Used to be 2 more games, but 1 more game now in the regular season. And, of course, with 3 downs, the quarterbacks are throwing more, so they're probably a little more susceptible to being hurt or being put in a position to possibly have somebody fall on them, get hurt. Is even more important in the Canadian Football League to have 2 guys to have a successful year because it is so hard to go through 18.
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, we're exposed a lot more because of it's only 3 downs. You're not running the ball 20, 30 times like you can in 4-down football down south. So the quarterbacks get banged up a lot. And if you look at the history over the past, let's just say 10 years, you need a capable backup to come in and win 2, 3, 4 games to keep you in the playoff hunt, to, for seeding purposes, you name it. So it's essential that you have a guy because statistics show that most quarterbacks don't start the entire season and finish the season healthy.
All right, let's get to this here. We got to ask you what you think. What do you think about the college football bracket and what went down?
You know what, man? I have mixed feelings here because there's no way you could tell me that if Alabama played SMU, that Alabama wouldn't just dominate them the entire game. So I can definitely understand the Crimson Tide faithful and how they feel about the situation. But at the same time, I mean, SMU could only play the people that are on their schedule. They did what they had to do. And, when situations like this, when Alabama loses to Vanderbilt and they lose to Oklahoma, you put yourselves in a position where you're no longer in control of your own destiny. And I think that this is a prime example of you better take care of guys on your schedule, or you better make a little cupcake schedule that you can make sure you have these guaranteed wins so that you put yourself in position. So, you know what? I think the committee got it right. It's such a tough position to be in, but you can't penalize SMU for who they play, but we all know Alabama's a better team.
And the other thing, I think it's definitely going to change next year. But hey, I love ASU as much as the next person that's ever gone and partied on Mills and down in Tempe, Arizona. But for them to get a bye, and for Boise State to get a bye, it's almost like if you've got hit on the head and you 5 years ago and then woke up this year and was like, what's going on with this national champion? Like, Boise's got a bye? Like, you can't tell me that Texas or Tennessee would just roll them. I think it's going to change, Darian, right?
Agree. You know what? How do you change it, though? I think you unless you just spread out teams and put them in different conferences and kind of, make the conferences a little more balanced. Yeah, something like that. But the conferences aren't balanced. We all know that the SEC has the toughest teams in the country, and they'll always, year in and year out, they'll always have more teams in the playoffs probably than any other conference. But, I mean, if you're going to give automatic bids to certain conferences, then you have to respect that and get teams like Boise State or Arizona State. They're going to get in and they're going to get the bye. So it's just such a tough situation. I mean, I think they got it right. The best teams are in. I'm not going to say the best teams, but, considering the format, the best teams are in, and I mean, that's all you can ask for. I think when it all is said and done, you'll see the 2 or 3 best teams in the semifinal game in the last 4, and then it'll go from there. It'll play.
I was just going to say, yeah, the cream's going to rise to the top, right? Because this is similar, right? If you look at it like to the National Football League, right? I mean, there's some teams that win their division, but there's other teams that are second or third or fourth in the division that probably would have beat all those teams. It's just how it worked out that year, right? Like it's just who's in their group, and sometimes it's just not fair.
Yeah, if you look at the NFC South, I think a lot of people would say the NFC South with the Falcons, the Saints, the Panthers, teams like that. Whoever wins that conference, you're going to get an automatic bid, right? So even though you're in the weaker division, that's just how the format is. So you can definitely compare it to the NFL, and like you said, and I said, the cream always rises to the top. I think the best teams will be there at the end, and the teams that don't deserve or got the automatic bid in those weaker conferences, you'll see.
The cream will rise to the top in our Christmas music bracket as well. So let's go. What song needs to be in our top 16 Christmas songs of all times, Darian?
I would go Mariah Carey, "All I Want for Christmas." I think
absolutely.
That's a staple. That should be a staple in everyone's playlist, so to speak.
that'd be like leaving Alabama out, but we're putting it in. That one has to be in. Darian, thanks so much. We'll so next Monday we'll see how the bracket's going. We'll have some fun with it. Appreciate the time. Hopefully the kids are all good over there. It sounded like it was getting rowdy.
Yeah, they're good. I know, man. Sorry about that.
I love it. No, we had a couple text messages, right? Live. Darian, real life. I love it. It's like always a dust up. I love it. Yeah. It's good.
Dad's in the garage. Dad's in the garage trying to do some work, kids. Just give me 10 minutes.
Trying to get away. That's all I asked for. That's all I asked.
See you, doubles. Right on.
Have a good night.
Double Talk with Darian is brought to you by Wolf Industries, your truck repair specialist in Grenfell, servicing all trucks and SGI accredited, and Prairieland Rentals, Albert Street in Regina. Deal with the owner, whatever you need. Prairieland Rentals. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get back to the bracket. We'll get back to what people are saying out there on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line. What do we got here? Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yeah, I don't know. It's the all-new Sports Cage. We are streaming at SportsCage.com. Going to just quickly the Monday Nighter tonight. Sprinkletown represent. It's I need what? I'm at Coolbet right now, and I desperately need, for all you playing at home, I need the Bengals to win by more than 4.5 points. Just throwing that out there. I was going to mention it to Darian as he's the Cowboys guy, but I didn't want to jinx it. So yeah, and it's still, what does Coolbet have here? 50.5. Coolbet is our sponsor of the Senior Hockey Report, along with Future Ford in Melville every Friday. Okay, speaking of hockey, Bidsy, Wynyard Minor Hockey, they are hosting an SJHL game in that beauty new barn in Wynyard tomorrow. Humboldt, Notre Dame, $15 for adults, $10 for students, 50-50, of course. Canteen probably runs a nice burger and fries. 7 p.m. Thanks to whoever texted that in. We get the SJHL report tomorrow coming up with Benny. We'll talk about it. 7 p.m. at the Wynyard Cooperative Place. Great rural rink. I've seen it. It looks more like a city rink. It's nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so
nice.
That's tomorrow. Humboldt, Notre Dame.
I like how...
Going at it.
Go ahead. Okay, and I like how you threw a canteen. It was a good canteen reference. Yeah, the old canteen.
Yes.
They run a good burger out of there.
If they got gravy, then we're next level.
Oh, got to have crinkle cut or straight cut fries.
Doesn't matter with gravy.
Oh,
give me whatever you got.
I suppose, It goes either way. Also, Shink, the Junior A World Challenge is heading to Camrose, and that gets started tonight, and it goes until the 15th. And Canada East is facing the U.S. in that one. Two teams, Canada East, Canada West in that one. The Junior A tournament there. Great hockey for all those to see there. Out in Camrose. We'll keep everybody informed of what's going on there. I think we have 6 players up in the SJ, right? Is that right?
SJ, yeah. We'll talk to Benny about that tomorrow for sure on the SJHL report. Yeah, that Canada West, Mike Reagan, we're going to try and get him. We're supposed to get him Friday, and then he had some problems with some things, so we're going to maybe try and get him this week. We started the show talking about the ruts in every city in Saskatchewan now with the rain and the snow and what happened, and now with the cold going to come, and your crescent, your street, your back out, whatever, is an absolute disaster. Yes, I said I've never driven on the moon, but it would be very similar. I'm sure that's why they have those fancy little units that they drive there. So what I did, because I'm not snowblower guy in my court, my neighbors are, they're awesome. I said, this is where I got to step up here. I got to step up and pull a solid neighbor move. So I hired, his name was Ryan, call him Mr. Plow Ryan. And he came last night and cleared that court. If my kids were younger, now the pile of snow, they would be having you could get like what's that? Like the sledding you could do on this hill. Maybe even a little snowboard action with a jump. Glad they're of the age that they don't do that anymore, because it'd be dangerous. But then he went all the way down to where the crescent starts. So everybody now got a runway. We are almost down to the wood, as they call it. So I just had a guy text and said, what's the Rob from NOD, North Regina? He says, what's the name of snow removal guy? And I said, I got to send it to you. Yeah, Ryan was coming last night. He's probably working until midnight, ripping darts and moving snow.
Ripping darts and moving. Yeah, that's the guy that did our place too in our complex too. Had to get us basically out of there, and he came with the big blade. I was like, please come with the straight edge one. Don't come with the one with the spikes on the bucket. No, just come with the straight edge one and get it right down to the wood. And he did, and we're doing okay. But the problem is the complex is good now, but the street now between our complex and the main street, like the side street, that thing, I went running through there today, and that's like running in sand. It's just all mushy and it's ruts, and it's
like Apollo and Rocky on the beach.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. Exactly.
Capital Ford Lincoln text line, Saskatchewan's #1 Ford retailer. Kevin in White City. If you despise Elvin and the Chipmunks as much as I do, then you have to include Bob Rivers' Chipmunks Roasting on an Open Fire to your Christmas playlist. I'm going to listen to that tonight. I don't think it's going to make our top 16. Are we pretty solidified? Like, can we start this tomorrow with 16? Boney, we have had a lot of Boney M people out there. And then we have the staples. Metro, Metro's borderline. We need more votes in the next half hour here. Metro's 11 days from Christmas.
Okay, now you got to have a fun one like that, right? Like, it's got to be Metro or it's got to be Bob and Doug. One of those has to be in there, doesn't it?
I don't know. I'm here. This is big time. Yep. This isn't fun and games, Vidsy. This is the Christmas song bracket on the SportsCage.
My dad always really liked Bob and Doug, and I remember when you drive around after we go to Christmas Mass or something like that, and we cruise around and look at some of the places for lights. When
Faye definitely wore possibly 2 brooches to Christmas Mass.
My mom, Hope.
I meant a Faye.
I mean, Hope. That's okay. There was probably a Faye there for sure. At Christmas, there would be a brooch on the outside jacket. Yeah, and then you take off the jacket. And there'd be a nice brooch with a scarf and a turtleneck, and it would all be it'd be lovely. And then we'd go look at some of the lights like Candy Cane Lane and the Smurf Lane or whatever they have in Saskatoon, and whatever crazy light display that one guy had across town that you heard about that was in the Star Phoenix, and everybody had to go there, and you walk by if it's too many cars drive by. And anyway, there was always Bob and Doug would come on, and it seemed like every year, and my dad just always got a kick out of that one, so we always cranked that one up. But the Metros is good. Yeah. This bracket's going to be intense. Every song for itself, it's going to be good. Let's take a quick break.
It is the all-new Sports Cage, streaming at sportscage.com. We are going to have the Trevor Harris interview, if you missed it earlier, coming up here momentarily. The Regina Pats are back in action in Regina. They've been gone a long time. 3-2 overtime loss in Edmonton yesterday. They are back Friday night against the Saskatoon Blades, and then Saturday night, the Teddy Bear Toss. You can go and get, like we talked about the Ottawa 67s game with the Teddy Bear Toss that turned into a brawl.
Yeah.
It was on our Twitter and social page. It's crazy.
Go donate some teddy bears and then watch the guys go to Planet Bizarro. Same time.
Yeah, I can't see it happening here, but you never know. Maybe it'll be a trend. Maybe they'll try. If you go to sportscage.com, we talked about it earlier. Congratulations to the curling team of Randy Bryden. They polished off everybody else at the senior men's curling championship in where was it? Moncton, New Brunswick. Not a bad place to go, Bidsy. For a little curling spiel.
Mm-hmm. Same price as going to Australia. Yeah.
What?
Good place to go, though. Going out to the East Coast.
Oh, we gotta get us somebody on that. What's a flight to Auckland or Sydney going for these days, and then one to New Brunswick? Colson's gonna effort that. The team of Randy Bryden, Troy Robinson, Russ Bryden, and Chris Semenchuk took home the championship for Saskatchewan. And then Randy's son, Josh, he's representing Canada at the World University Games in Italy come January. A deep curling family are the Brydens. I think someone said like 17 green jackets and 3 Canadian championships in that household. So around Christmas time, when they get their Christmas music going, they kind of sit there and look at all their championship trophies.
Yeah, and their turtlenecks and their little whiskeys or what. Remember those the cups that they had in the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with the eggnog with was it the moose antlers that everybody had there at the Griswold's house? Is that what they were? You probably got a set of those.
No, I don't. And you know, I'm ashamed to say this. I've seen Christmas Vacation like twice in my life, and I literally just saw it for the first time like 5 years ago. I went through my whole life. I went through like 40 years of my life not watching Christmas Vacation.
For a Christmas guy, that's surprising. I got a couple here for you. First off, a trip to Australia. I looked it up yesterday because we were thinking of going in a couple of years. About $5,000 a piece return is going to get you to Sydney, Australia. Whoa. Lisbon, if you're going to Portugal, we're also thinking about Portugal. It's about half the price, about $2,500 return if you're going to go to Portugal compared to Australia.
I think you got to shop around.
Yeah, you do. Oh, for sure. But that's just what I was going for when I was looking just the other day. I got a list here, some songs, a couple from the staff here in Saskatoon.
Okay. Yeah.
At Cruise FM, our sister station, of course, to CKRM in Regina, and a couple from my sister, Noelle, who's listening to this in North Battleford. All right,
great. She born around Christmas with a name of like Noelle?
She was born on Christmas Day, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, she's born on Christmas Day. And she was a Ukrainian dancer with your sister back in the day.
Hey, Nazdrovia.
Yeah, there you go. So, she was dancing up with Carla there. Okay, here we go. Great Christmas songs. Some from here, some from my sister, Noelle. Bob and Doug's 12 Days of Christmas. We talked a little bit about that. Elvis's Santa Bring My Baby Back to Me. Do They Know It's Christmas by Band-Aid. We talked a little bit about that one as well. And Christmas Is Coming by the Payolas. You know that one at all?
No, I don't. Definitely no Band-Aid. I could listen to that Band-Aid. Do They Know It's Christmas? Speaking of Carla and Daryl, when we go on their boat in Waskesiu, and everyone's always got the loudspeakers on their boats nowadays. Loudspeaker guy. I blast Dolly and Kenny Christmas. Everyone else is playing
right there in the summer.
Oh yeah, probably Band-Aid too. All year round. I'm passionate about Christmas music. Everybody that's chimed in on the Capital Ford Lincoln text line, thank you very much. Tomorrow it's going to start for real. You can follow on Twitter, and then you're going to be able to vote on here. I know Colson wasn't too keen on that, but we are going to be able to vote on the text line as well. But you're going to get the meat and potatoes of things on the Twitter page. I don't even know who's playing. First seed versus 16. I think the first seed's got to be Dolly Parton, Hard Candy Christmas. if I have anything to say about it.
Although sounds like it.
Although Boney M has been, might have to change that.
Boney M's been the most popular, that's for sure.
Yeah. In Saskatchewan, it's a big deal, man. And you know what? I think for people that, you know, like there's some people that just loved it when it came out, that record came out. Everybody had it at Christmas time, like I said. But then it just got passed down, right? Because now it made all the kids and everybody else think of it. And then we play it, and it's a generational thing.
Lots to get to tomorrow. We got a Rash. We got Glenn Suter and more. Ryan Pollock's going to be joining with me. We're going to play the, like I said, the Trevor Harris interview again here on the way out. Bidsy, always a pleasure. You're going to be following this bracket intensely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Forget about that bracket. You know, like when the college bracket. You know, the Sweet 16. All that. No. This is one people are going to get behind.
There's going. We'll take a quick break. We come back. Trevor Harris interview again. It's all new Sports Cage. SportsCage.com.